Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to show you how I've managed to crack the rank 1 player, my guildmate, in regular arena. He has a defense which is incredibly strong, and it took me ages of trying different things to come up with a way of beating it. This is basically his team. I'll have a screenshot of the formation as well so you can see it. Donlinger to protect you from any ultimate casting. He has Saida for amazing stall factor, and then Igor, Talene, Athalia, hard hitting damage right from the beginning of the match. And like I've tried, you might look at this and be like, oh, can you somehow Cryonia it? Cryonia is going to be dead in seconds of the match, and even with Pandora, and yeah, and Donlinger's bell is not going to wear off. So basically this team was just giving me so many problems, and I tried a lot of different things, and I was not even able to come close to it. Then finally I was like, okay, let's go back to one of the heroes which I really enjoy using in regular arena. Not necessarily because I think he's the strongest, but Baelran. Baelran, I just get, it's so satisfying when Baelran gets going in a regular arena match, or even Supreme Arena as well. But because after his ascension, he becomes so difficult to kill, he becomes a hard-hitting damage dealer, and then you're like, okay, now is my time to stomp on the opponent team. So I ended up going with this team, and it worked out really well. I won 3 times in a row, all kind of convincing wins. I'm going to show them to you right now. And this video is just kind of like a tribute to Baelran and how I think is the most effective way to utilize him in regular arena, which is definitely, you number one want to have the twins buffing Baelran, because it's going to give him bonus stats and also bonus healing from their stellar bond. On top of that, you're going to need at least one more healer, and I've found that Ludovic is the best healer for him. So the thing was, first I was thinking Rowan is the best healer for Baelran, because Rowan gives in a health potion right at the beginning of the match, pretty much, giving a big HP boost of Baelran, and it allows him to get ascended earlier on. But what I realized was, especially in these stall-oriented teams, even if Baelran gets ascended, if I don't have further healing throughout the whole course of the match, Baelran is eventually going to go down. So you need continuous healing for a longer duration of the match, and Ludovic is the best hero for that continuous kind of healing. So I'm not going to ascend as quickly as if, for example, I was running a Rowan, but Ludovic is still going to sustain me throughout the whole fight, and that is a better advantage. And then, of course, if I want to have, and he has Athalia with a stall comp, if I want any way of beating that, I have to run Athalia of my own. Now, of course, if you're not facing such a really pay-to-win team, you will not have to run Athalia. You can just run twins, Ludovic, Baelran, maybe even one more, like Rowan, for example, get Baelran ascended and just dominate things. And I've done that quite a lot for different teams, but for really heavy pay-to-win teams, you have to bring out everything as well. And so we also went for the Donlinger to prevent their ultimates. We don't want Saida getting free ultimates because that's more stall factor. And then we also brought Athalia for that damage output. And basically what I just ended up doing is my Baelran just becomes a better staller tank with damage output compared to Saida. My Baelran just basically in this match becomes an improved version of just Saida, Igor, and so that is how I'm able to get it done. So you see it here, Ludovic provided a bit of healing for Baelran at the beginning of the match, but I still haven't even hit an ascension. So it's going to be until like 15 seconds in the match that I even get my first ascension on Baelran, which might seem really late. But because Ludovic is alive, and Ludovic is going to continuously heal up Baelran, and my whole team is completely fine, and in fact is better for it to go this way. So now Baelran got his first ascension, he got his second ascension, and Ludovic is still alive, Ludovic's still providing healing to my team, and now Baelran is just going to town, basically, attacking all of the enemies, dealing high damage. It still is not over yet, because he has Igor, he has Saida, he has Athalia, which are all really annoying to kill. Baelran cannot like execute them, or Cryonia freeze them, or knock them off the battlefield like Scarlita, but Baelran can just be a tanky body here, survive for long enough, deal some damage, and allow my Athalia to keep bouncing around, and that's basically what ends up happening, as you can see right here. His Talene is also a force to be reckoned with. She keeps reviving herself, dealing some bonus damage, but in the end the opponent team just doesn't have enough damage, even though it's basically like a 4v1 kind of. Athalia, Talene, Igor, Saida are all hitting my Baelran, but it isn't enough in the end. And I want to show you another replay to show you that this wasn't a fluke. if you take a look at it here, some of these other replays are even more convincing. Now, I think if the opponent, for example, one way to shut down Baelran is if they run Satrana. If they run Satrana on the defense, because Satrana has a Vitality down debuff, that is a really big counter to Baelran. And so, like, if he does make that swap on his defense, then I will not be able to use Baelran, but then I can use a different comp that will be, like, more effective into that and probably still win. But I'm just kind of showing this because I don't think Baelran is the most overpowered hero for PvP. However, he has a niche and he does that niche really well. And honestly speaking, this was a defense which was almost impossible for me to crack. Maybe I just didn't come up with the good enough options, but I tried basically everything you can think of, and for over a week just hitting my head against the wall against this team. But then finally this is the one that worked, and very consistently. Yeah, so even here, like, Ludovic went down, but basically everyone's set up. Baelran's had his ascensions right now. The rest of even my Dunlinger is still alive somehow, but Saida is really annoying. This from fighting this defense, I was honestly really impressed with Saida, because when you have that Dunlinger protection for Saida, and then you also have Athalia for that nuking power, this is basically a core of 3. So here Baelran gets a bit low on health, so it does look like this was maybe a bit risky, but my Dunlinger was also alive, so even if Baelran died, my Dunlinger would still remain around for Athalia to keep dealing damage. But yeah, that was the lowest health we have seen Baelran so far. So let's go ahead and watch the final replay, which was even more convincing than the other ones. But yeah, that is basically the thing. Overall, Baelran is a solid hero if the opponent doesn't have a Satrana for debuffs, and if they don't have like a Dunlinger Cure Lock. He is a force to be reckoned with, and you just will have to protect him, of course. You have to provide him the healing he needs, but honestly, Twins plus Ludovic is enough. And then, like, Dunlinger, Athalia, they're just additional support and damage. So that's what I was mentioning, that Dunlinger, Saida, Athalia, this is like a core of 3 heroes, which is really, really difficult to deal with. It's probably the strongest core for regular arena defense, because, like, you can't then go for Cryonaya, because Athalia is going to kill your Cryonaya before you can even wait out the Dunlinger Bell. And you can try to go for a nuking comp of your own, but your enemy side is going to outstall you. So then you have to then try to go for a stall strategy, but that doesn't really work, because like Saida plus Igor Talin, that is the maximum of stall, and I don't have a Paragon for Saida yet. And anyway, mirror matches are not like a good they're not a consistent way of beating a team. But then I realized Baelran actually counters stall pretty well, because if Baelran doesn't get bursted and you have the healing backing him up, he is just eventually going to work down the whole entire enemy team. The real weakness of Baelran is enemy burst nuke teams, which are able to kill him before he gets going. So anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful, and just sharing kind of like my appreciation for Baelran, because overall, like, it's really, if we talk about my history with Baelran, when he first came out, I felt like he was just a bait for the Primal Lord, and I didn't even recruit him or build him at all until the Primal Lord ended, and then I saw, okay, he's also doing well in Dream Realm, and he was doing pretty well in Dream Realm, and of course, all the while, he was good in AFK stages, and I was like, okay, now is the time I'm actually going to invest into him and commit to him, and now, honestly, I can safely say he is just one of the most all-around solid heroes. Of course, PvP is not his strong suit, however, he has that real sort of competitive advantage against some enemy teams, and I'm telling you, if there's any way of, like, boosting health or immediate burst healing in the future, they're gonna have so much synergy with Baelran, because like even Ludovic is getting the job done. I can definitely see circumstances in the future with new hero releases that can make Baelran even stronger than he currently is. So overall, I'm just basically saying I'm now a fan of Baelran, and I just think even for like free-to-play players, he's just a major priority to build now because of his PvE usage. And like I can safely say, building Baelran before Freyasto and before Harak, those heroes definitely are going to be less important than Baelran. It's just Twins, Rainier, Baelran right now. Those are the big 3 Celestial Hypogean heroes. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about Baelran in the comment section down below. Have you found any other teams to work well with him in PvP? Let me know about that. And if you guys are not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. We talk about everything related to AFK Journey there. Also, feel free to use my affiliate link for the official Firelight store. If you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, there's a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.